Okay, so there's a lot of editing software out there, and I'm going to be talking about iMovie today because it's readily available, you can easily get your hands on it, and it's very affordable. Well, the real nice thing with iMovie is the fact that it's a very intuitive piece of software. It doesn't need a huge amount of knowledge, understanding about how it works, but it's the basic kind of understandings which I'm going to show you here of how editing software works. So you've got two main parts, which is your project, which is your timeline. That's where you're going to be putting the different shots on and editing those down to create then the overall story, the overall narrative. And you've then got another window, which is the events, and those are all your different clips. So that's in a library of certain interviews you've done, certain cutaways which you've got, so different shots of locations and such forth. Once you then put those actually onto then the project timeline, it then allows you to then use some of the different tools in order to edit between those shots. So you can put in transitions, you can then also overlay photos over the top of where a certain interview might be talking about a person or a place. And you can also then add titles. Have a play with this. Don't feel that you've done anything wrong. You can always go back and you can start again, but it just allows you to kind of really get a good understanding about how the software works. Okay, so what we just talked about there is the basic kind of tools of using iMovie. There's also some advanced effects where you can then use it in order to add different cutaways of footage. If you go to iMovie, click on Preference, click on Show Advanced Tools, and that's where you can then click on the cutaways, and it allows you then to make sure that your film becomes a little bit more dynamic. But take that one step at a time, keep playing with it, and what's really useful is the iMovie Help option, which you can then ask all the different questions where you might get stuck. So with the nature of this video, it's not really going to go into the details about how to edit. Obviously that's down to then you to kind of experiment and play with, and there are other online tutorials which you can find out from that. This is really on how to produce an overall film and the different stages which you need to do and use in order to make something which is really interesting, really engaging. Once you actually finish your edit, then you want to output and distribute. Now you're going to need to compress your overall edit down into one file. There's a shortcut where you click Command E and it will take you through into this option, or you can go to the top of the screen, go along, click on Share, it will bring down then the menu, click on Export Movie, and because you probably shot in HD, if you are using an iPhone, some form of smartphone or a flip cam, you want to retain that quality. So make sure that you click on the HD 720p setting, and it will just allow you to keep that quality there, and when you've got it online, it will look professional and it will keep the integrity of your film. So once you've actually then compressed your film, you then need to think about how you're going to share it. Now there's lots of different websites out there. Obviously YouTube's a really popular one. You can put it on there publicly where you can broadcast, or you can actually, there's different settings where you can put it as unlisted or private depending on who it is that you're wanting to see your film. So make sure you think about that when it comes to uploading and sharing that online. Read the online tutorials, and it's very simple, and you'll be able to kind of get your film out there depending on what level and what audience you want to reach. Okay, so now it's down to you to start making the film. You can do this through experience, it's the best way of learning. Conduct a simple interview, either work in pairs or find someone that you could do an interview with. Plan it out first though. Write a basic treatment. Work and go through each of the different steps which we've just talked about. Make sure that you set up your equipment right and check then the sound, the lighting, that it's going to create then a really professional shot and something that you're proud of. And go for it. Make the most of it. Action! Thanks very much for watching this film. I hope you've learned something from it and you feel more confident about movie making. If you do want to get in touch, here's my email. All the best, and I look forward to seeing your films online.